Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Well, hello. This is Bloody Happy Hour podcast.
Oh my gosh. What are we doing here?
Our Thursday episode where we dive into one big story. We tell you all the facts, all the fiction, and we throw in all of our extra crap.
Our extra banter, our extra funniness. That's what we do.
And like Tuesday's episode, we want to dedicate this episode to our listener.
Yes,
Jennifer James, who we found out in there's a big crash on the interstate a couple weeks ago here in Waco, and a bunch of cars were set on fire. Big tractor trailer kind of lost control and hit some of them, but there was only one fatality, and it was our dedicated listener. And so her friend Robin, thank you for letting us know. Send us a message and let us know. So, because she loved Bloody Happy Hour, I picked a crazy story.
Oh, good.
For all you listeners, and because Jennifer would have probably really enjoyed this one.
Oh, for sure.
So, we're going to Japan.
Okay, Japan.
We've been there a couple times. Think about
listen, don't even bring out Asuwaki.
Yes.
What is his name?
Tiramisu.
Y'all, which episode was that? 2?
3, probably. Wait, 2 or 3, I don't know. It's up there. You got to listen to it.
There were so many stories in one, and we used to have, because I was subbing, and I was like going to Colleen to interview, and I came across that homeless person, and then all the things. And then Tiramisu had like these long, nasty fingernails and fingers, and
I think we went another time for the Twitter killer murder. We did that at a live show. And they're always, and this is in Tokyo area too. But this is a female.
Ooh.
And this female is like Lorena Bobbitt, but on steroids.
Oh, she cut off multiple peni?
Or we'll see.
Oh, we'll see. No.
And we're going back to the 1900s.
She into women.
Huh?
She's cutting off boobs?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Nope. There's still some penis being cut off, but she doesn't just like hold it in her hand and throw it out the window.
Oh.
So get ready.
She Taylor's business did. Okay.
So there are 3, we're in Japan, 1900s, and there's about 3 main options for women to do back then because I mean, Japan in general is very male-dominated, right? And then, especially back in the 1900s, women just didn't have any rights or choices at all. So, option 1, you could be a indentured servant as a young girl, up into like your teens or adult life where you're working in a factory. You're living in these living quarters in a factory with other women. It's gross. It's unsanitary. You're not really getting paid because your family has sold you to this factory.
Oh, no.
And you're working off your family's debt. So you go there for like 5 or 7 years, and then you can leave. It's not slavery. It's indentured servant until you pay off your thing. Option 2, you worked in a brothel. Okay? So sometimes fathers would sell off their daughters if their daughters pissed them off, or if they really, really, really needed money. They would say, take my daughter, let her work in this brothel, give me this money, and, you know, send her home when she earns her keep.
Okay.
And that's how you paid off your debt, by screwing in the brothel. Or option 3, you could be a geisha. Have you heard of that?
No.
Do you remember the movie Memoirs of a Geisha? Oh. I've never seen it. I've just heard of it. But this is like you're like a trained hostess. They entertain men by, it's classier and it's respectable. So they're dressed up really nice. They entertain men by like singing or dancing or just like very articulate conversations. It's not usually sexual, or at least the respected type of geisha is not sexual. So you're like an upscale stripper or something. Okay, but your clothes aren't coming off.
Geisha.
Now it was very hard to become one of these, and you did training like when you were young. You'd learn the songs, you'd learn the dances, you'd learn how to the little fan.
Oh.
And so a lot of girls who are lucky become a geisha.
Oh, so
okay?
I can't do it. I mean,
I'm
looking for a job. I can't try to go be a geisha
You
somewhere.
can't go be a geisha. You can't get married when you're a geisha. You can leave to get married, but you cannot
be a married geisha.
Cannot be a married geisha at all. Okay, so let's meet Sada Abe. Sada Abe. She was born in 1905. She was the 7th of 8 children, but ended up being the youngest of 4 because the other 4 died. And back then people were dying of like whatever disease was coming up because there wasn't any medicines really. Penicillin hadn't even come out. There weren't any vaccinations, and so there were also a lot of diseases back there, like deficiencies. So 4 of the 8 died. The family owned rental property. They had like the mat making business, you know, the little straw mats they roll out and they sit and they eat on. So they had a mat making business, and then they had like some rental properties. Okay, so they were also considered like middle class, this family. There were 3 girls and 1 boy left, the kids. Okay, and back then, probably still now, you were passed down the family business, but you couldn't pass it down to a daughter. It had to go to the boy, the oldest boy. And they only had 1 boy, and this boy, the oldest boy, was just a shit ass. Like, he was screwing everybody. He was getting in trouble. And he ended up getting married and stealing all of the family's like life savings and money and kind of putting them in a horrible, horrible position. So he got disowned.
It kind of sounds like the story you told, and I don't know his name, but he stole a bunch of money from his family and then he killed him.
Oh, Amato. So he was disowned. So that means the business could not go to him, and there's only girls left. So Sada's family adopted a male carpenter boy, gave the business to him, and then made middle sister marry him so that it's still in the family, okay? Because you just can't give it to a girl. So the oldest of the girls, she's good. She's married, and she's running now the family businesses. The middle girl, this bitch was dirt leg. So she was screwing boys behind the bleachers, and she was getting caught, and she was making her dad mad. So dad sold her off to a brothel. Okay? So she's going to this is how they think. If you are going to shame our family by having sex, we might as well get paid for it.
Yep.
Okay? So then the baby is Sada Abe. She's the baby. She's like way younger than them. Dad don't really give a shit about any of them. Like, he's old. He's 52. He's had 8 kids. Like, they're stressing him out. So he don't even give a shit about Sada by now. Mm-hmm. But her mom, like, is obsessed with her. So she adored Sada. Sada's her favorite. She would make Sada breakfast in the bed every day, like as a baby, as an adolescent, as a teenager. She was spoiled. And she started getting Sada the training to do the geisha stuff, because she was like, this sister was lucky. She got married. Middle sister, she's a hoe. We're going to let you be a geisha. Like, this is going to be your...
Yeah.
And then later on, you can get married and have a good sacred marriage.
Yeah.
So, Sada's about 15 years old, and she has lots of freedom because her parents are old and they go to bed and they're tired, right? So, she's hanging out with some older kids, and one of the older guys rapes her. And obviously, she's pissed and scared and sad and mad, and she goes to tell her mom. And her mom tries to go to the boy's family to confront them. They are middle class. Boy's family is upper class. So they would not even look her in the eye.
No,
like, you're beneath me.
Yeah.
So during this time, being a virgin is a big, big deal. And it was the only way that you were going to be married and have a respectable marriage. Like, it was so bad that, like, if you were going to get married, your fiance's family had a right to do a physical examination on your vajayjay to make sure you're a virgin.
I was about to say, how do they know if you're a virgin?
Just like the doctors know.
I mean, but
I don't know, the little sheath, that little
broken
liner, that little cherry, I guess.
What about if you have to put in a tampon or something?
I don't think that breaks it.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. But I don't even think they did that. There was no insertion into the vaginal area, period. It's impure.
Pure, okay.
Okay. So she had so much shame because she has dishonored her family. And now her future is totally changed because now she knows she can't have a respectable marriage. Ugh. So Sada's mama was like, the only way I can think of to fix this is if you marry the guy who raped you.
True.
I mean, it is.
I mean, that's a great solution.
Win-win situation.
Wow.
Let's go knock on their door again and let's see if they'll consider. They wouldn't even look us in our eye, but see if they'll consider marrying you. And that's a no.
Oh, no.
That's a big NO because you do not marry down.
Mm-mm.
Didn't even consider it. So Sada's hating life. She's pissed. She's probably got PTSD. And she starts acting out. She's stealing. She's staying out late. And now she's screwing on her own accord.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, okay, well, we tried. It didn't work out. We're going to send her away to go be somebody's maid. But bitch has been spoiled her whole life. Mm-hmm. So you used to bring her breakfast in bed up until she was like 16. Now you want her to go be a maid for somebody? No, didn't happen.
Not gonna work.
Instead, she stole their jewelry and money and kimonos, and she like went out on the town, and she just had the time of her life.
Of course. Get it, girl.
So Dad finds her and threatens to sell her to a brothel.
She's like, I don't even care. Sell me.
And instead, he decides to send her to a family member whose name is Miyazaki. This is not a blood family member. It's like a married-in family member. This family member was going to make Sada a licensed prostitute. You have to have a license in Japan.
You have to, take courses? Or?
There may be a certification class. There may be a booklet. I don't know. But basically, a man has to okay for you to become a prostitute. They grant you this license, and then this man, in turn, goes and gets you a brothel to work at.
Yeah,
and
he's their pimp.
Basically, your pimp.
pretty much
You know, every once in a while he'll screw his workers. He is what we know as a pimp, but that's a respectable job in Japan because you're licensing people. You have authority.
Yeah.
How respectable is that?
Super respectable.
So Sada and relative, who's not blood relative, they begin having sexual relations. And Sada has only had sex that meant nothing. So the fact that this is like willing and like he wants to do it with her, she wants to do it with him, she begins to catch feelings. But he's married and he's got kids, and wife is like, poof, be gone. He's just using you, okay?
Yeah.
So she gets transferred to a different brothel.
Oh, no.
And she has to work at this one long enough to pay out her debt at the other one, okay? And it's just a vicious cycle, brothel after brothel. Then she becomes a geisha, but she's a low-class geisha. So she gets to not do all the fun dancing things and conversations. She's just getting screwed. So literally and figuratively. Getting run through. So this life becomes really hard for her really quick. God. And one day she's found in her room, and she has pulled out like patches of her hair. And she is just like staring straight ahead. So they call the doctor, and the doctor checks it out. And the doctor's like, yes, she is having a nervous breakdown. You may not want to assign her to any men today.
Tomorrow should be fine.
But tomorrow, get her back on the books. So she got the day off.
Get her a wig. We'll be good.
She'll be fine. At that doctor's appointment, she also finds out she has syphilis.
I was about to say, she got STD, she got crabs, she got all the things.
Back then, syphilis was a big deal. It is a big deal now because it can like affect the brain, but there was no really cure for it. You just took these humongous like injections every day. So she decides, F this, I'm going rogue. So she leaves the brothel, she leaves her said pimp, and she goes, and it's just like jumping from brothel to brothel, but these are unlicensed brothels.
Oh, yeah.
And she's an unlicensed prostitute now because you're not attached to anybody. So these eventually get raided. That's illegal, and she goes to jail for a little bit for being a prostitute without a license.
Yeah.
I love how it's just the rules are so different in other countries, obviously. But while she's in jail, one of the brothel owners sees her because a bunch of the women got arrested. So one of the brothel owners sees her, a prominent brothel owner sees her, and thinks she's really good looking. So he calls a friend over who is kind of higher class, like maybe politician level, and he's like, she may be a good mistress. So they bail her out, and she becomes this politician's mistress, which basically, like a concubine back in the day, is like this politician would give her a house, like an apartment, a money, like stipend, like a lifestyle, and he just came over and spent a couple nights with you every once in a while and then went back to his house. So she was like, sign me up. I love this gig.
Yeah.
One man only, and I have my own place, and I don't have to do it all the time. Like, she loves it. But this man later says that she was always very, very thirsty for sex, and that they had to do it a minimum of 4 times.
A day?
In a row.
A day?
Yes.
What is he taking?
I don't know. It's that good Japanese diet, I guess. What? They would have to do it a minimum 4 times for her to be satisfied.
For her?
Her.
She's requiring 4 times.
Yes.
Not him.
Not him.
Oh, what? Girl.
But you have to think about how much she's been screwing in a day. So maybe it just takes her a long time.
You need to find some batteries and...
So he said that when he spent the night that she would not allow his hand off of her, like he had to sleep with his hand on her vajayjay all night. And if he like rolled over and moved it, she would hit him, wake him up, and put his hand back on her vajayjay.
Put your hand back on me. Put your hand back on me.
Make sure you're touching my vagina. It's yours. So he was like, it became like way too much. And she again starts getting attached and demands him to leave his wife and his kids. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So she leaves this great mistress position. And she's like, you know what? I don't want to be a hoe no more.
Oh.
I want to own a restaurant.
Okay.
And so she hears about this very popular restaurant near Tokyo called Yoshidaya. Mm-hmm. And she applies to Yoshidaya to be an apprentice so that she can learn how to run her own restaurant one day. She's interviewed by this cute little Japanese couple. And during the interview, she tells them that she is married, but her husband is sick and lost his job, and they're about to lose everything, so she needs a job. Mentioned nothing about being a geisha or a prostitute or anything, which she probably should not have, and that she just has goals. She's focused, and she wants to help her husband out, right? So the owner's name is Kashizo, the man. He's the owner, but of course the woman is behind the scenes running the whole restaurant while Kashizo is screwing all day long. Women, just different women. Like he was a known womanizer. Wife is holding the restaurant down and he's like out in the streets. Okay? So it doesn't take long for him to see how beautiful Sada is. Mm-hmm. And all Sada wants is like a little bit of attention. So they begin to quickly have an affair. And Sada quickly falls in love. Yes. They would go away for days on end on these like screwcations, sexcations, sexcapades. They would rent a hotel room and not leave. They would have sex. Food would be delivered. The maids will come in and clean around them while they're screwing. Later on, then the maids were testifying or being interviewed, and they were like, they told us to come in and clean, but while they were still going at it in the bed. So they were freaks. So.
And she get paid for this?
No, she is doing this willingly. Like, she wants to be with Kichi. She calls him Kichi.
Well, Kichi got a wife, so.
They stayed in this hotel for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Ice and medicine.
Yes, ice
baths.
Everything. I'm sure they had to have ice baths and God.
So.
She be walking crooked.
She obviously loses her job because she hasn't showed up for 2 weeks. And wife finds him in the hotel with Sada. So now
she wants to join.
He's caught. She's caught.
Oh,
He's
she
caught.
doesn't want to join.
And he has to go back home.
Oh no.
She does not want to join.
She's not trying to
come cook some of these damn noodles. I've been in the restaurant all day. Come make some of this egg drop soup. I've been cooking for 2 weeks straight. So she makes him go back home, and this is May 7th, 1936. Okay, so he goes home. Now, Sada is devastated. She starts drinking heavily, and she is obsessing about him. And she realizes that being a side piece just is not enough. She wants him all the time, full time, never to leave her side.
So she's got to kill the wife.
So she calls the restaurant constantly
okay,
calling. If the wife answers, she hangs up. But she finally gets a hold of Kichi on May 11th. So 7th through 11th, she's obsessing. She's drinking. She's like planning.
She's spiraling
down. On May 11th, he answers. And they agree to meet again.
Ooh.
So he ain't learned his lesson, obviously.
No, he don't care.
So he shows up wearing a very nice kimono. And she is pissed because she thinks that he has been dressing up for another woman. And she pulls a knife on him, holds it to his neck, and is asking questions. Did you sleep with your wife in these days? Did you sleep with another woman? Who are you dressed up for? Like, kind of going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of this scaring him,
it turned him on.
So then they go at it hardcore, and they're having all the sexual relations.
Oh, all the relations.
Then they continue to, like, just hang out, eat dinner, drink, and during another round of relations, she pulls a knife and this time puts it up to his dangly langly.
No.
And she's like, if this is not mine, I will cut it off and make it mine. But
that's a little, you went a little bit over the line. A little bit.
But not according to Kichi.
Oh, he liked it. He wanted the knife close to his thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So they went at it again. And during this bout of sex, she pulls out her sash and she ties it around his neck. And they start experimenting with asphyxiation.
Oh, a little bit of bondage. Okay.
Kichi loves it.
Oh, my God.
And she gets tighter, and she gets tighter, and she gets tighter. But she gets a little bit too tight where the blood vessels in his eyes are now damaged and popped, and like his eyes are red.
Oh, no.
Almost Critiquia.
Oh, no.
So she's like, feels so bad, and she goes and she gives him some pain pills, and they called them calming pills. So they're probably like sedative type things before the pain. And the bottle says, take 3, no more than 3. Well, he pops 5 of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and he sleeps for a long time. Well, they would stay in these hotels until somebody ran out of money. Like, she would get money from her mister that she has had, and then, or he would have money, and then when they ran out of money is when they would have to check out of the hotel, right? Gosh. So they're out of money, and they're about to have to check out. And she's like, but I do not want you to leave. You cannot leave me. You're not leaving me. And he's like, ma'am, you know I have a wife and a kid and a business. I gotta leave. We can't be together all the time. And she is like red hot on the inside. Oh, no. So after their last dinner there, their last night there, this is their last night there, and he takes some more pills. And she later says that he takes like 20 of them. Why? Yes. Wow. Yeah. And she said that she could not stand the thought of him leaving again. And she knows that they can never be together because he's married. So it's May 18th at 2 a.m. So they went there at May 11th. They've been there for 7 days straight. It's May 18th, 2 a.m. She gets her sash. He's passed out because he took all those sedatives, wraps it around his neck, chokes him out until he's dead. And she said afterwards she felt a sense of relief and clarity and weight lifted off of her shoulders.
Because now she knows he won't be sleeping with anybody else.
Yes, good job. That is exactly it. And then she lays next to his body for the next couple hours and just kind of cuddles him because...
keeping him warm before he turns blue.
Before he turns blue and starts smelling. So then she got a knife. Oh. And
she do some carving?
She cut off the frank and the beans.
Wow.
The cock and the balls.
That's...
Because she knows he's dead. And she knows the wife will eventually get the body. She does not want the wife to touch his penis because that is hers.
Because that's probably what the wife would do. Just go straight for a dead penis. What is wrong with this person? Jesus.
It's hers, Caroline.
Okay, she's going to put it in her trophy case, I guess.
So then she dips her fingers in the blood from his wound, and she writes Sada plus Kichi on his stomach, on the sheets, and on the wall.
No care about any evidence.
And then she carves her name into his forearm.
Well, what a sweet gesture.
What?
Wow, that's so romantic, actually, if you think about it.
Then she puts on his underwear.
What?
She sleeps next to him.
Oh, my gosh. How long is she there with him dead?
with the Frank and Beans wrapped up in a magazine cover next to her.
Oh,
so it's him,
precious.
it's her,
This is
and then
a
it's
love.
the Frank
You didn't
and
tell me it was a
Beans.
love story.
It's a love story.
This is like a Disney movie.
The next morning, she gets back up.
Oh no!
And she keeps his underwear on, but she covers him up before she leaves, and she tells the maids that he's sleeping really hard and not to disturb him.
So hard.
We've had a busy night. Just let him sleep. She goes shopping.
Okay.
And she goes and buys a new kimono. And still wearing his underwear. She puts his penis and balls in her pockets of the
as
kimono.
one would.
Yeah. And she goes to the movies. And she goes to get a massage. She goes out to eat.
Penis in tow. Penis in tow.
And she gets a
trophy
hotel room.
Okay.
Okay,
Another
so
hotel.
another hotel room. Not in that hotel, because obviously she's not going to go back. She orders takeout. She orders some drinks, and she's sitting there with her cock and balls, and
Does she
she's
get a
getting
hot
drunk.
dog or corn dog, or she just gets regular?
Hey, listen, she already has a weenie. She don't need any more
I mean,
weenies.
I don't know. Apparently, she likes them.
So she starts writing letters to the people in her life, and she even writes one to Kichi. And that is when she decides she was going to commit suicide.
Oh.
Okay? So back at the hotel, the maids discover Kichi's body. And so they call the police. It like hits the news so quick. They called it the Sada Abe panic, because people are obsessed with this story, with her. There's sightings all over Japan. There ends up being like a big car pileup because somebody thinks that they saw her crossing the street and they stop.
Oh no.
And other people are looking, and it's just big old pileup. Like, she becomes an overnight famous sensation.
What?
They know that she's probably going to flee, so the police are like posting up at all the train stations and bus stations that are local. And her suicide plan, was she was going to take a train to a mountain and jump off with her penis
in tow
in the hand. It was going to jump off together.
Oh.
She
She really loved that penis.
She loved that penis. But, she couldn't get to the mountain because the police were at the train station.
Oh, no.
She just kind of hung out again for about 3 days total. She checked into another hotel where police find her, and she was calmly taken in with the items in her pocket.
Oh,
but not before the police let her do her hair and her makeup, before she faced her fans. Because she's a sensation now. She has fans, and she can't go out there looking crazy.
Who is going to keep the penis in the balls?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Somebody's going to keep them. She has a letter on her when the police find her. And the letter is to Kichi, who's already been dead for 3 days. You are mine. I love you more than anything. You have now become mine forever. I shall soon follow you. With love, Sada.
Oh, what a love letter.
They're interrogating her, okay? And it lasts for weeks on and off, right? Because they want all the information they can get. And they asked her, why did you cut off his penis and his balls?
Just curious.
And her quote is, I felt attached to Kichi's penis, and I thought that only after taking leave from quietly, if after taking it, I could leave quietly and then I could die. I unwrapped the paper holding them, gazed at the penis and the scrotum. I put his penis in my mouth and even tried to insert it inside me, but it didn't work. However, though I kept trying over and over, it did not work. Then I decided I would flee Osaka, and in the end, I would jump from a cliff on Mount Ikoma while holding on to his penis.
I feel like that's totally normal. It's all totally normal.
You were using
I'm still
a
waiting.
dead,
Why?
soft.
But why did she just wanted a piece of him?
She was just attached to his penis, and she didn't want anybody else to have it. It was hers. She also told police that Kichi, I've said his name differently every time, Kichi told her to kill him. He said, I know when I go to sleep, you're probably going to choke me, but this time don't stop. I won't feel a thing after all these pills that I've taken. Don't stop because it hurts too bad afterwards. So then he took those pills.
And then he said, take my penis.
Yeah, she added that part in.
Oh.
It seems so believable to the police because he did take all these pills. Maybe he did want to die. So they asked, ma'am, why did you kill him? And she looked like with so much, there was like a twinkle in her eye.
That thing got to be gray and purple by the time she's putting it in her. I'm still stuck on that.
Is this a form of necrophiliac? It has to be because it's sexual acts with a dead thing.
It's a dead piece of
limp skin. So, of course, you're not going to be able to insert it inside of anything. And then you performed fellatio with a dead penis.
Ew. I don't even know what to say.
So they said, why did you kill him? And she said, I loved him so much.
This is
I
worse
wanted
than
him
eating the cat's
all
fur.
to myself. I wanted him all to myself. And as long as he's alive, he can be embraced by another woman. But if I killed him, no other woman could touch him ever again.
Okay, well.
And women think that way. Or men think that way. That's why they kill their spouses all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They then sent Kichi's cock and balls to Tokyo University Medical School Pathology Museum, where they were on display for years until one day they disappeared and they have not been seen since. So remember on the Satomu tiramisu story?
Yeah.
He had cut off the little girl's hands, and the family went on the news and stuff, and they were pleading for him to return her hands because their Buddhist belief is when you go to heaven, when you die, that's how you go to their heaven. They were afraid their daughter was going to go to heaven with no hands and not be able to eat. Oh. Very logical, right?
Yeah.
So Satomu, I think, did return the hands. So they gave his wife, Kichi's wife, opportunity to come pick up his cock and balls so that they can bury them or cremate them with the body. And she didn't want to come pick him up. So she wanted him to be in heaven with no cock and balls in their heaven.
Oh, my God.
So that's why they were donated to this
But where did they go?
museum. I have a thought. I'll tell you at the end because I don't want to give it up yet. Okay. So one day they disappeared, gone. Her trial starts that November. So the murders happened in May. It's November 1936. She is so popular by this time that they had to build an underground trail to get her into the courthouse.
Oh my gosh.
She was believed to be sane to stand trial. So also during this time, Kashizo's restaurant, the Yasha whatever, started booming with business. So wife is getting loaded because people like me come to the town and want to visit the restaurant where Sada and Kashizi met. And so people are coming from all over the world to go eat at the restaurant. And then the hotel where he was killed was the most booked hotel in Tokyo because people were coming in town to stay at the hotel where he was killed. I would have done both of them.
Everything.
It's December 31st. Went through the trial. She was convicted of second-degree murder and mutilation of a corpse. How long do you think she got sentenced?
5 years. I don't know.
6.
No!
She asked for the death penalty because she wanted to complete her plan and join him, right? She asked for the death penalty. They didn't give it to her. The judge knew and stated she was guilty, but said that she was also a victim of society and that she had had a harsh life of brothels and prostitution and raped at a young age, and that she didn't really chose this life. She was kind of forced into this life, according to the judge. Okay. So he was a little sympathetic for her.
And he was trying to get with her.
And so was the Oh, and then you are right, because he admitted after the trial was over that he had gotten aroused.
Oh, what in the world?
During the trial. No! Like his robe was probably standing up.
No, sir, judge.
So the public actually agreed with the judge, is that, she is too somewhat
like
of a victim.
Seductress over here, whatever she has.
Yes, yeah. Jezebel spirit is what it's called. So she goes to a women's prison in Tokyo. She's a model prisoner, and she's released in 5 years. So she gets 1 year knocked off. And she's like 35, so she's got plenty.
She's just starting off, yeah.
When she gets out, she changes her name. She works as a maid for a little bit, but she gets fired when the people find out who she is, because it'd only been 5 years. Like, people are not going to forget. Yeah. You haven't changed. You haven't aged too much. So she becomes a mistress again, where she's like having sex with a relationship with a wealthy man, and her syphilis is now being treated constantly, and so she's healed. Some people think that syphilis affected her brain and made her do this, and so now she's healed because now penicillin is born, and so she's being treated. In 1948, she decided to write her own book. It's a memoir where she told her own story, how she fell in love, made a terrible, terrible mistake, and it was a bestseller.
Of course.
Her memoir.
Yeah.
In 1967, she opened her first restaurant, like her dream.
Oh, my God.
And it was a successful restaurant until some guy came in and stole all of her money, probably her brother that stole all her family's money way back in the day.
Oh.
So she ended up losing her restaurant. What? And I feel like they didn't keep their money in banks. They would keep it in like a hiding spot in their home or in their restaurant. Oh, my gosh. Like you just didn't put it in banks. Then she disappeared for a long time, and people did not know where she was until a famous author wanted to write a book about her and her story. And when he found her, she was in a convent, and she had become a nun. She had shaved her hair and became a nun. So she went from one extreme to the other.
She found herself.
He wrote this book about her, and that, too, was a national bestseller.
She became a nun. Oh, I did not have that on my bingo card. No, I did not.
No one knows what happened to Sada Abe or how she died or when she died. But they did say that Kachizo's grave had flowers on it constantly up until 1987. And it was not his wife, and it was not his kids. So they think she must have died in 1987 because he had no more flowers after that. Yeah. And I think that when she got out, she stole the cock and balls out of the museum. Yep. And she died with those cock and balls like she
did.
Said. Them Franken beans. Is it Franken beans? Is that what he said on
Yes.
Franken beans?
Franken beans. Pork and beans.
So that is the story of Sada Abe.
Wow. I don't know where you even found that, but
Geisha.
That was amazing. That was great.
Ooh, so
I'm pretty sure she died with that.
I think she...
With the appendage inside of her.
Appendage. Can you... They didn't have all the things. Maybe it was in a glass case, so it kept it like...
Stiff?
Yeah, from like totally deteriorating, but they didn't have like the things that we have now.
It.
Do they have that then?
Maybe they used like caulk, or well,
maybe they painted.
They caulked the caulk. I mean, Why would they not?
Oh, that story. So there you go.
Wow, good story.
You're welcome.
That was really unexpected, and I love it.
There was only one murder, and it seemed like
Dude,
nobody was
really
really sad.
No.
His wife wasn't sad.
Nope.
Maybe his kids were.
Probably not.
The judge, the
judge
public,
was excited. Real excited.
The public didn't give a shit. Poor Kichi. He just, I don't know.
He was famous for his.
Oh yeah, he was famous for a while because the rumor was when she was like missing with this appendage, like when she was like on the loose, people were saying like it was ginormous, like it was the biggest. You know, they had like started these rumors, so then they were like, "Oh, Kichi with the big weeder whacker." And the police were like, did he have an enlarged penis? And she was like, no, it's not about that. It's about your dedication to pleasing your woman.
I cannot.
And your flexibility.
And
your stamina, obviously, if you got to do minimum 4 times.
Okay, girl, get you some.
Okay. All right, that's all we got. And we will see y'all next week for a whole new week of Bloody Happy Hour. New news, new story. See y'all then. Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always BGTF.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network